Hey y'all, I'm Shawna. Welcome into a new video. Today I'm going to be talking about ads and sponsorships. I'm going to be talking about my stance on them as well as their role on the channel moving forward. Here's what you need to know right away. The channel policy on sponsored content is changing. If you want to know how or why, then you can keep on watching. As of today, the day that this video goes live, I will no longer be accepting sponsored content for products, or I would say more so like consumer goods, things like bags or shampoos, jewelry, anything like that. This is going to be the case like moving forward. This is just the new policy. Now, this change didn't come from a bad experience with the brand or like a change of heart on a brand, like, oh, I no longer believe or support an X product, or I wouldn't buy X product. That's not the case. Nothing nefarious has really gone on behind the scenes. There's truthfully just like way more at play than like a brand being good or bad, or like me supporting a brand or not. I started taking ads in 2021 because I really saw myself as like part of the beauty space. I didn't really see myself. I had like conscious consumer beliefs, but I saw myself as part of the beauty space, and it is kind of the norm, or let's say like acceptable, to have ads in the beauty space. I dabbled in fashion too, so taking ads with like some fashion content also made sense. I'm talking about the beauty space because, that is a product-oriented space, so it did feel appropriate to talk about products. And the first handful of ads, they also felt super exciting to be able to be noticed by brands, but also to be able to earn some extra money. Ads, like, to be honest, ads do pay well. Two ads, just two, are typically more than I would make in AdSense revenue for 1 month. Of course, that would depend on like what month it is. Like, December being a high earning month, that would not be the case. And because ads, they do help pay the bills, it seemed like a win-win scenario. Like, I like these brands, I like these products, I stand by them, I would buy them myself, and these are things that I recommend. And the stance that I took with many of these products, over the course of the past 2-ish years, has kind of always been this, like, if you need a replacement, if you are looking for a gift, like if you are already intending to buy something, here's something that you can consider. And a lot of the brands as well were doing stuff with like sustainability, or they were like vegan and cruelty free, things like that, which are, I feel like, generally harder to come by with things like perfume as an example. Or like the product was very high quality, so you could own it for a long time. Those were things that I had considered, and so it all felt good. It all felt okay. Over the past 3 years, my personal spending habits have changed, and as I evolved and changed as a consumer, as a person, taking ads also felt appropriate. I no longer believe that no buys are for everybody, and for a while, I kind of had this mentality that like all shopping was bad. That was kind of like my no buy year philosophy. And I no longer believe that. However, and this is a very big however, even though I've changed, even though my spending habits are different, that is not the case for people who come to my channel. I have people come to my channel in various stages or places in their journey. I have people who are just thinking about changing their shopping habits, people who are in the midst of doing so, people who come to my content during vulnerable moments. And people who come to my channel are often looking for a little extra motivation or a little encouragement, a little push to help them along their journey. Ultimately, my content is not about me or where I'm at. My content is about you and about the community. So how I'm doing financially, how I'm doing with my habits is like kind of irrelevant. Sure, it informs the content, but ultimately I'm not making content for me. I'm making content for a community. And so what what needs to be kept in mind is where my community is at, and ads no longer feel appropriate. With that, taking ads based on where I'm at is not reflective of my community and like what they need and what they want. Or I should say what you need and what you want. And even though I would never want somebody to break their budget or spend beyond their means, I can understand how seeing an ad can trigger somebody to do that, or to maybe you didn't spend beyond your means, but you're coming to a particular video to have some support, and then you see an ad, and while you might be able to say no, you shouldn't have to face that kind of temptation during a vulnerable moment. I truly wouldn't want an ad placement to propel somebody into a shopping spiral or to a negative mental space or anything similar. For a long time as well, I saw my channel as personal, which is contrary to what I was just saying. I saw this as this personal space where I would talk about my journey and personal content. That was true for a long time, during my no buy year, because I was documenting my journey, which is a very personal thing. That has stopped being true for a while. Yes, I can still talk about my experiences, sure, but the content is no longer about me. The goal has really been clarified over the last handful of months in particular, that the content is really now about serving a community and serving the needs of my community. And, making content that hopefully will resonate with you, that will encourage you, inspire you, motivate you, help you, etc., on becoming conscious consumers and changing your shopping habits. I've really clarified my vision for this channel over the past 6 months. And if that is the case, if I want this channel to serve you, ads do not make sense anymore. I just don't see a place for sponsored content. I think a fair question that I would like to address would be the fact that there was an ad just a handful of days ago. And I think, you could ask how can you have this message while also deliver an ad just a few days previously? A couple of things. One, ads or sponsored content are weeks/months in the making. And even though I had been thinking about this for a few months, there was a comment that came about after I had already accepted an ad. An ad that was basically somebody who was, or multiple people who came on YouTube and into my DMs, who were just talking about their disappointment in a recent ad. And I took those comments very seriously. And I sat on them and I was yeah, that these comments are really correct. And they really spurred this choice that I feel it was coming. It just, kicked it into high gear. So I think that this is a case of two things being true at the same time. Yes, I do stand by what I said in that video, that their jewelry is awesome and it's great for gift giving. However, that doesn't mean that ad should be on this channel for my audience. And to be even more honest, after receiving those comments on YouTube and Instagram, I was able to get out of a different contract. It just didn't feel right anymore. And I was you know what? If I can, I'm going to. I don't want to be sued. But, if I can, I'm going to get out of it. And I was able to. And the company was... I feel that's another story for another time. So I was able to do that. So what can you expect from me and the channel moving forward? There will be no product-based sponsorships, as I've mentioned. That's just a new policy moving forward. For the next 4 months, there will be no sponsored content of any kind. And after that, I'll say I'm using these next 4 months to consider the channel policy on service-based ads. Things that would be Audible or Notion, perhaps a budgeting app, productivity app, things like that. I personally believe that product-based ads are different than service-based ads. The reason for that is majority of folks who find themselves in trouble with shopping is because of stuff physical, tangible stuff, consumer products. Consumer products tend to hit different than services. People are much less likely to overspend or start a shopping spiral because they got Netflix. Yes, you can overspend on services. That is true. But I think it's just a different situation. I also believe that there's stuff out there that can help us on our journeys, that can help us become more conscious consumers, or that can help us in personal growth and development. Like if Notion ever reached out to me to have sponsored content, I feel like I would want to say yes, simply because of the amazing tool that Notion is. A lot of the tools that I've developed myself specifically for conscious consumerism, but also outside of that, happened on Notion. I mean, there's no talks with Notion, but like, hopefully you can see what I mean. This is also the place to talk about YouTube ads. The ads that run before, during, and after your video. I have been criticized over the years for having ads on my videos. And I've thought very consciously over the past nearly 3 years that I've been able to have ads, whether that I wanted to do that or not. The short answer is I will not be getting rid of ads. They're going to remain the same. Just to be honest, making videos is a lot of work, and the more impactful the video, I find the more time it takes to produce the content. And yes, I do understand the criticisms about running ads. I get it, honestly. But at the same time, when you ask a creator like me to not have ads, you are also asking that creator to work for free. I am not prepared to work for free at this time. And there are alternatives. However, all of those alternatives have a paywall. There are different platforms that I could take my content to, but no matter where I go, in order for that content to exist without ads, there will have to be a paywall. So there is either paywall, no ads, free content, ads. Those are like truly the choices that are up for grabs. I could also potentially just not post on YouTube and post exclusively on like Instagram or TikTok. Maybe do more short form videos there. However, there are ads there as well. I mean, you let me know, would you prefer to have ad-free content behind a paywall instead of YouTube? My gut is telling me that that is not what majority of folks want. So y'all let me know. I'm happy to be wrong. The last thing I want to do before we close out this video is to make an apology. If you came across any of my videos that had an ad and you were triggered by said ad, I'm truly sorry. I mean, intentions don't really matter, and the context in which I made those choices don't really matter. Like, I'm sorry that you were ever put in that position and that my content had that negative effect. I am truly sorry. And as a result, we're making changes, and I hope that my content can have a more positive impact moving forward. This, I feel like, is also the time to plug membership and buy me a coffee. If you like the work that I do on this channel, both of those methods of supporting the channel are available to you, and I would definitely appreciate the support. Hey, Editing Shawna here. I was just editing the video back, and what I noticed is that I was so focused on talking about where this change in perspective came from, I didn't talk about some of the other reasons why I don't want to take sponsorships, or why it's kind of good to leave them behind. First and foremost, I don't want to be another voice that is just contributing to that noise, encouraging people to buy stuff. Even if the people watching my content are the most conscious consumers out there, I would still be part of that process, that mechanism, and that voice that encourages people to shop, which I don't want to do. And number two, will have historically put sponsored content on more kind of fun, lighthearted videos, things like Project Pan updates or things like beauty empties. Even if that specific video is more lighthearted, somebody can migrate from that Project Pan video to something else. Or I think more importantly, conversely, somebody could be watching, let's say, like an aspirational fantasy self video. And they watch that and then they go on a Project Pan video and there's an ad. Even if it's only on some or the occasional video, it still has that opportunity to influence people negatively. And number 3, the kind of influence I want to have on people, I want it to be positive. Sure, the thing that I'm talking about, the earrings or the purse, whatever, but even if the thing is amazing, great quality, like best thing out there, that's not the primary message or the primary takeaway that I want somebody to get from my video. And that's not the primary influence I want to have on people. The primary influence I want to have on people is to help them shop in ways that they deem healthy for themselves. Anything that doesn't do that, I feel like is a bit of a distraction. Yeah, I'm allowed to make fun videos every now and then, stuff that is just like pure lighthearted, sure. But in like the general sense of things, that's what I want to do. Lastly, I think that having ads, even on the fun videos, does dilute from what I'm doing on the channel. That's kind of what I was just saying, but I also think that it can have the effect of taking what I'm saying less seriously. As an example, one of the last ads I did was on like how to shop intentionally. And I think that video could maybe come across as disingenuous, or I'm only saying what I'm saying, so I could put a sponsored video on it. That was not true of that video or any other video for that matter. Like, I would never just create content for a sponsored placement. However, it doesn't matter if that's actually true, if that's how it comes across. And I wouldn't want any of my messages to be diluted because of an ad. So that's it for me, editing Shawna. So if you have thoughts about ads and sponsorships, feel free to let me know in the comments. I feel like this is the place to let me know your thoughts. So thank you for watching and being a supporter of this channel. I appreciate you. I appreciate all the hours that you watch videos, all the likes and comments that you leave. I love this community and I really want to do my best to support it. So thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again around here soon.